Triple Shot Mindset. I was listening to an amazing podcast by a couple of my favies. Boho Beautiful is the name of one on YouTube, and she teaches yoga, mindfulness, and meditation. And Teal Swan, another teacher type who I just referenced in our last Triple Shot Mindset post. And in this 2-hour and 11-minute podcast, Teal Swan, who is a spiritual teacher with I think over 1 million followers on YouTube, who produces all of these videos, and she draws these amazing frequency art, and I'm not trying to be her free publicist right now, but I like her work. She says that if she could tell the truth about what it's like to be a mother and a famous person, she would say it's a disaster. That was her exact word, a mess, disaster. And she goes on to say that the image that influencers are perpetuating right now is that you can have it all. You can be a mother. You can be a businesswoman. You can be all of these things and have 100% of everything you want. Now, I believe it was Oprah, and I may horribly mess this up right now. God's forgive me. Who said, you can have it all, just not at the same time. Mm. And today, in this world, influencers, men and women, but I see it mostly from women, are saying, you can have it all at the same time, and I'm going to teach you how. I don't think I've ever personally witnessed it happen successfully, where a person has it all, and everything is in its box, and everything just flows, and everything works. Life is messy. We are messy. We are human beings. I don't know anyone who's not a mess. I'm still looking to find the unbroken person who underneath it all is like, no, I'm perfect down to the core. I don't know why they're from the South, but yeah, it doesn't exist, right? Or maybe I'm just in a circle of, maybe I got to raise my vibration or something. I don't know. But I love and accept people as the mess we are is beautiful. Everything is beautiful in its own way. I don't think that that's a negative. I think you can learn a lot from exploring people exactly as they are. So my question for you today, and my hope for the viewers and listeners, is there value, and this is kind of piggybacking off of your episode, in portraying ourselves as perfect? Is there value in portraying ourselves as having it all together? Or is it more valuable for everybody if we just reveal the guts?
If I want to have followers and people to strive to be just like me, I'm going to put on a show that I'm the greatest dad in the world, the greatest business person in the world, the most successful person. I have time for travel, time for self-care, time for gym, time for kids, time for eating healthy, meal prepping, all that stuff that I see on social media of guys. Not that I follow too many guys.
So men are doing this too.
Oh, yeah. So they put out this impression that it's all doable. But I think in my life, at least, I put my kids first, then my business/health, because I think they're both important. Because if you don't have your health, you don't have your family, you don't have your business. And I just try to be authentic with people that I meet. Like, this is who I am. Yeah, I don't sleep. Look at the bags under my eyes. Like, look at this button missing from my shirt that my kid just pulled out this morning, right?
I can attest to this because at least 3 times this week, you've left the office to be with your kids.
Yeah. So you have to do that. I mean, to me, they come first. They come ahead of a relationship. They come ahead of my business.
Why?
And my health. I mean, I created them. Oh. And they're living beings, and they want to be nudged onto the right trajectory. So I want them to have the best of me being present, me being 100% in. And I want to be able to teach them. I want to be able to play with them without looking at my phone to see how many emails I've missed from work. And although a lot of people, and maybe some people are pulling it off, I have no idea, but
they're not.
No, but the people that I know are pulling it off. I have friends who are really great at what they do. They have shared custody of their kids.
Like 50-50?
50-50.
Oh.
1 week there, 1 week here. Like me, like my ex-wife, like a couple of my friends. 50-50. And in that 50% of the time that they're with their kids, they're present with their kids.
Just kid mode.
For the most part,
Activated.
they're present. Yeah, I can't say they're 100% present, but they try to be present. And the other week, when the husband or the wife has the kids, they're all business, or they're all looking for next best relationship. And I think you have to split your time like that. Otherwise, you cannot have a great business. You can have a great relationship. You can have great kids. I think online people pretend they do, because I strive for that perfection too. Like, I strive for having it all. And if someone's doing it, I'm going to follow them and to see how they're doing it. But I walked in onto there's a guy who was making a video in Costa Mesa at a mother's market.
Yum.
And I asked him what his handle was, and he gave it to me. This was like 2 or 3 years ago, actually before the pandemic. And he gave me his handle, and I went and followed him. And yeah, he was at mother's market buying groceries and, green juice and da-da-da-da. But as soon as his cameraman turned off the camera, like, he went into, he's like, oh God, fuck, man. I'm late for this, I'm late for that. My kids are going to kill me, and my wife's going to do this. They're just putting on a show. As soon as the camera turned off, like, you're like, fuck, man, I'm late for this, I'm late for that. But if I would have just seen him online, I'm like, wow, this guy at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he's buying groceries. He's probably going to go home and juice and meal prep, and he's going to, play puzzles with his kids and, have sex with his wife at the end of the day. And then in the morning, he's going to wake up at 4 o'clock like he pretends he does.
So what's the value in this?
I think if you want to be an influencer, you have to do things that are influential and are something that people have to strive to be.
So you can't be... So is this something people believe, or is this true? You can't be real. Because and I'm not to rope her back into this, but Teal, my girl, said in that podcast, if I showed people myself having a breakdown on the floor, which happens every other day, for the record, she was like, I'm on the floor crying, bawling, maybe not every other day, but she said often, I would lose their respect because people don't want to see that.
But I want to see it.
I want to see it too.
I want to see that someone is real. They're struggling with their business. They're struggling with their kids, and they have to find a work balance.
Yeah.
If I saw that, I would be more impressed.
I would gain respect.
Yeah, than just, this is me at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is probably recorded at 7 o'clock at night when the kids are like sleeping and mad at daddy. He's in the garage pretending like he's working out at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure it's doable. I'm not saying people don't live that life, but you're not living it to the potential. You're not living, and usually self-care takes precedence with these influencers over family, over their kids, because looking good for the camera requires you to be in the gym every day.
Yeah. Get the hair done.
Having that Lamborghini paid for, you're required to work. And the kids get pushed back, and the relationships get pushed back, and the wife gets pushed back into, the back of the line, because you have to, first of all, keep up that facade for the people. And the people who will suffer would be your kids and your wife. And so if you look at some of these influencers, how many of them are divorced? How many of them have a good relationship with their kids?
Some we don't even know are divorced.
Yeah.
Some you find out years later they separated from their person, and they pretended for years like they were together.
Yeah.
I was it Tony Robbins who did that? Somebody big did that recently that came out. Is it Tony?
No, but I do know people that work with people of influence. And all of them, not just 90% of them or not just 80%, but all of them have given me stories about the influencer not following his or her own word, right? They just put up a show. This influencer, for example, one influencer that I'm talking about he talks about his health. He talks about how he meal preps. He talks about how he wakes up every morning at 4 o'clock and goes surfing. Whoa. How he has a perfect, wife. How he has a perfect kids. How he balances everything, and he meditates 3 hours in Laguna Beach.
Nice.
So I talked to the videographer, who follows this guy around, and he said, we pick a day on a Saturday, and we pretend it's a regular work day. Like, he basically goes through a script. And he does all these things. And some of these shots are from 2 days ago and some of the shots are from a month ago. But they put them together as if it's a day in the life of. And he said, he talks about health. He talks about eating healthy. He talks about how sugar is poison. And the minute he gets back to the office, he opens up his little mini refrigerator and takes cupcakes and starts going at it.
Oh.
And he starts opening up his drawers and starts having Kit Kat before his clients come in. And he says he's just the biggest ball of lies. And his wife hates him. His kids don't want to hang out with him. But he pretends like he has it all. Because if he were to be real, he would lose a bunch of followers, which is more important than your family, apparently. But he would also have to, like, he said he's going to lose money if he's real, basically.
For some people, I understand that their followers are more important than their family. I don't want to morally judge people's values. For some people, being famous is what they want more than anything in the world. For some people, they never really wanted to be a parent. Like, all of these things, they feel like because society tells them they have to do. And I think this is true for a lot of women who are business women in their heart, but went down the family path and then were like, back to the business. Like, women feel obligated to show a maternal side that society tells them they need to have. I understand. So I don't want to morally judge people and say, like, oh, you shouldn't let your ambition supersede your success. Because if you want success more than anything, I actually think there's a lot more moral value in aligning with what you truly want instead of pretending to be a way that you think people are going to like you because of. What I don't think is cool is all the lying and the hypocrisy. I would love to see an influencer, and because I value authenticity, that's one of my personal values. Like you said, I would gain respect for an influencer who said, true story, my marriage is crap. It's because I'm so ambitious. I'm going to show you how to win in business the way I do.
Yeah.
Just never take relationship advice from me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, if I want to win in business, you're the person I'm interested in following.
Yeah. And I know people who are broke and they give financial advice. I know people who are broke and they're talking about how they're living the millionaire's lifestyle. And I know them. I'm like, why are you pretending? Like, this is not authentic to you. That's not, it's vibrationally, it's like way off. But they choose to do that anyway because maybe online they're getting the validation that they need. Maybe online they're getting those fans or their families. Like, if they get a bunch of likes, maybe it means more to them than a kid hugging them and saying, Daddy, thank you for coming home on time today.
For some people, it does mean more, those likes. I think it's the fake it till you make it mentality. We have that in the US. I don't know if that's all over the world, but I know here we have it. So, and there's some value in that fake it until you make it. I think if it's aligned with your values though, like if you are putting, like I said, money above all else and you want to fake being successful until you make it, I guess that's fine.
I think the fake it till you make it for me when I was growing up was buying a car that you couldn't afford so that you can go on meetings with potential clients and wow them into thinking you're successful and giving them, giving you the business. For me and Kevin, we did the fake it till you make it from a business standpoint. And the day we had a meeting with a Fortune 500 company, the day before, we went and bought Hugo Boss suits. And if Kevin was here, he would say, oh, it's Boss or it's Hugo. I don't know which one's what, but we bought Hugo Boss suits. I'm just going to say both names.
Cover your bases.
Yeah. We got the best ties that we could afford. And by afford, I mean put it on a credit card and hopefully you can pay it off. We went to the BMW dealership and we got a black on black BMW.
It's a lot of
black interior, black exterior, and black tinted windows, like executive tint windows. Yeah, it was $60,000 that we couldn't afford. But we signed the dotted line and we drove out of there with that car, with those suits, with those ties, with those shoes, because the next day we had a meeting with a Fortune 500 company. And it wasn't like we were living this lifestyle that was neglecting our friends, or we didn't have kids back then, but girlfriends or wives or whatever. We were doing it to further our business momentarily. We weren't going to do this like every day. So when we went to that business meeting, long story short, the meeting itself was around our car. It wasn't around our skills. It wasn't around our portfolio. It was around the car. Because the CEO came down when we were in Huntington Beach. He came down, so he's like, can I drive that car? That's the latest model BMW. I really love it. Can I drive it around the lot? And we're like, here you go. And he said, you guys have my business because I think you guys have what it takes. Right? Yes, it does work in those cases. I know a lot of realtors who their first car was crap and they rented a BMW or a Mercedes to go show a house. But that's a temporary little glitch on your radar. You have to do that to pass a certain... But a lot of these influencers, they just live that lie beyond its maturity, beyond, what was intended to. And once it becomes a part of your life, it's just a lie.
Like you drink the Kool-Aid.
You drink your Kool-Aid. And it's just, some people have going on 5-10 years doing this, and they don't understand that, this is hurting them. It's no longer authentic. It's no longer authentic that supposedly you work out this many times a day and you have a relationship with your kids. And if you know the people behind that person, you see that they're all broken. The kids are complaining why mommy or daddy are always neglecting them. So fake it till you make it, yes. I believe in that for business. 1 or 2 instances to get a big client and then, do whatever you have to do to be authentic. But living a lie on social media just to get validation, get acceptance, and neglecting everything else that matters to you, I think that's like wrong. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it or trying to, because I don't have a full understanding of it myself, but I'm trying to think of it from a vibrational frequency perspective in the universe. I know a lot of influencers across the board who are into spirituality, especially because that's my niche. So I'm always obviously subscribed to spiritual influencer types just to see what's going on in the culture right now. They're saying you have to get into the vibration of the life you want to experience. You have to get into the frequency.
Yeah.
So I understand in a fake it till you make it scenario where you're meeting with a Fortune 500 company, you want to show up like, okay, I'm vibrating at this level, you're vibrating at this level, like, are we a match? We already have the talent to back it up. We're not trying to prove our talent to you. We're just trying to get in through the door and show you that we're on your level. But you wouldn't start a romantic relationship by buying a car, buying a suit, bringing a whole new personality to the scene, because then you're presenting something that you're not, and you're going to try to create it at the same time you have the relationship. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, if the woman falls in love with the facade I've put up, then that's on the wrong trajectory. And that's my favorite word.
Yes.
And I think, the previous podcast that we did, in a business situation, for me, having the portfolio to back up my talent, and I just happened to show up in a BMW because it was, first of all, it was time to upgrade my car. Second of all, I know that that's like my business card, right? If someone sees me pulling up in a beat up Nissan Sentra or a top of the line Mercedes or a BMW, obviously I want to do business with the one who, but in a relationship it's different because that's going like the second time or third time you meet the person, they're trying to have this facade and energetically there's something not vibrating correctly.
Yes. And people can sense it around you.
Yeah.
So then how long is it going to take the world to figure out, or the influencers to figure out there's something that's not on the level. I'm not cohesive. I'm fundamentally, the foundation is cracked. How long can you fool yourself? Forever?
I know influencers who pay to be a New York Times bestseller. In other words, a company will buy 100,000 copies of their book at cost and just fudge the numbers so that the person feels better about themselves. I know people who pay Fiverr or some other companies to get them fake likes and fake followers.
Yeah.
And as a society, I think we're going down the wrong whole, because if you're buying your likes and followers and you're still doing what you're doing in front of the camera to prove to those fake followers that you're somebody, like, that is pathetic. So I say, even if you have 300 followers, if you have 52 followers and they're authentic people and you're being authentic and you're vibrationally and from a frequency standpoint, you're connecting with them, that is, to me, a social construct that's going to be constructive to both you and your followers. So as much as I like some of the influencers that I'm following, I started unfollowing them because I saw that they're just putting a fake facade after fake facade, and people started questioning them. Like, people are now smart. Like,
Yes.
5 years ago, okay, you drive a Ferrari and you have a wife and 3 kids who love you, and you're having time to go on a picnic on a yacht and also close deals. Oh, wow, I want to be like that.
Yeah, amazing. Because social media was new back then.
Yeah, but now it's getting old. People are like, yeah, right. Where'd you rent those kids from? I've read those comments, but still the people who follow that, like, at one point you got to give up on that idea and be real. And I don't care if you lose 90% of your followers, the 10% who will remain are the ones who are going to add to you, and you're going to add to them.
You never had 90% of your followers. You can't lose what you don't have. Someone write that down. You never had 90% of your followers because they were paid for or they were attracted to something that wasn't real. So then what I'm getting from you right now is making me feel really good, because it shows me that I'm not alone in wanting realness.
Yeah.
That people are getting fed up with bullshit.
Yeah.
And maybe the pandemic has something to do with it. Maybe because that was a time a lot of people had to look inward and reassess where they were in their lives. Maybe AI has something to do with it, because I'd say so many influencers are fake, but now we have something even faker. We have AI. And AI is going to come in, and we'll talk about this in another episode, but my personal prediction is AI is going to create better art, better stories, better content than the fake stuff that people, that influencers are getting away with now. I think AI is going to replace a lot of non-substance influencers. So has their time come to an end? Is it the end of inauthenticity? Like, are we turning a corner here socially?
I think so.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Triple Shot Mindset.